Howdy, Tommy from Tanknicians here. In this video, you're going to see the process whereby a tank had to be entirely broken down and restarted because of fish disease. This customer had 26-plus-year-old fish in their tank. They were sold a fish from another fish store that had disease. They put it in their aquarium and they lost everything. So Chris is going to take you through that whole process.
But first, we got some cool stuff here at the shop. We had this pink sea cucumber. Look how cool this guy looks. Oh my God. That thing is wicked looking. It is a rock cucumber, so it stays more on the rock than it does in the sand. It's not gonna be filtering out your sand. It's gonna be hanging out in your rock work, which might be the reason why they are pink, to kind of blend in with the coralline algae. Also got a little baby naso tang and a disjardini tang in the back that just came in. These guys have just started their quarantine. Today is their first day with us. And I wish the disjardini would come out, but I know he's a little shy, but it is a really pretty fish. Next tank over, we got yellow watchman gobies, some firefish, a possum wrasse that's literally playing possum, and in the back I believe there is a mimic tang hiding behind the sponges. Everybody's kind of spooked right now because they just came in and they're acclimating to the new tanks. And then over here we have a little sharp-nosed puffer, a leopard puffer. I don't think I've seen one this small come in. I don't even know if I've dealt with one of these fish before. Really cool looking little spots on his body, but then it's got some color on its little mouth area. And then he's in here with a really small bristletooth tang and copper band butterfly. These copper band butterflies, everybody knows they're a delicate fish, and we're gonna quarantine them, and hopefully they can make it through the quarantine, because that's gonna make somebody very happy. If they can make it through the quarantine, they should do great in your tank. And we got some Anthias over here battling it out for supremacy. Looks like we might have two that are trying to be dominants. We'll have to keep an eye on that, but they also just came in, so they're gonna figure out who's what. But if the aggression continues, what we're gonna have to do is separate them, the two that are going at it, into different tanks, just to ensure. Look at that, look at them going at it. Yeah, that might be a problem. We might have to separate them. So we got two males fighting it out over dominance, so we're gonna have to separate them right now.
They're tearing each other apart.
Right, here we go. I got the net. Now, let's find it. They're so preoccupied with each other. Hopefully, I'll be able to sneak up on them. Let's make sure we're getting the right ones.
Really fortunate that Chris caught this on day one of the quarantine process. That makes it really easy for us to just pull them out of that tank, move them into a different tank, and then we're not worrying about, you know, cross-contaminating halfway through a treatment. All right, out of one tank into another.
All right, so here we are at the customer's house. This is the tank that we're breaking down today. We're gonna start by getting all the corals out. See, Tommy's already got one of the anemones out. He's working on getting the other one. How's it going for you, Tommy?
It's going.
That's really good. Okay, all right, so a couple of these corals will probably not keep, but we're gonna try to keep the really nice ones.
So I just noticed some digitit. No, not digitit. What's the word for these hydroids?
We got some hydroids over here.
Yeah, where'd they go? They're bright green polyps.
Oh, right.
Here they are.
We have some hydroids right there where Tommy's pointing at. Those are, insert name here. Along with tons of Aptasia. Yeah, there's some more right there. Tons of Aptasia, vermeted snails. Just a mix of everything, and that can explain why a lot of these corals didn't do well.
Besides the
trigger. Yeah, besides the triggerfish that was in here. And got some cyanobacteria growing through here, so I'm really looking forward to starting this tank completely over. What do we got?
All right, so we got this really pretty sponge. Look at that, it's kind of like ethereal. You know, sponge is cool, but then look at these little tube worms. So now you got this little whoop. You got right here, it's like kind of see-through, but with conglomerated sand, little tube worms.
Yeah. There's a whole bunch of stuff living in your aquarium that you're not even aware of, that you don't even notice a lot of times. There's a whole little ecosystem that goes into this. Got some feather dusters growing on here too as well. Ton of stuff in here now that we're going through the tank and exploring and taking things apart. It's gonna be really interesting to see once we take all these rocks out. I mean, this tank's been set up for years to see what we're gonna find. Look at those tube worms. Their little burrows. Look at that, out of sand. So we got this tank completely cleared out. Now what's next is draining the water, siphoning out the sand, and prepping the filtration too. Still got a long way to go, but the tank is completely empty, void of all corals and rock. Corals are wrapped up in this bucket, and we're taking the rocks out to our shop to be sanitized, bleached, broken down, all that stuff. That tank is dirty. Start moving the sand around, you really get an idea of how much broken down organics are in there. Now you're gonna be filling up the tank with fresh water. That way, this is regular tap water straight from the hose. It's gonna go through the whole system. And this way, we're gonna have the tank run. You'll be able to kill anything that's still in the pipes, anything that's in the filtration. Basically sanitize the whole aquarium just using regular tap water. So this is part of the process, getting the water, the fresh water throughout the pipes, being able to break down any organics that are still in there, flush it out. And then once we drain it again, we're able to get everything that's broken down in this aquarium out. We'll do this once this water sets after, what, about a week? About a week, then we'll drain everything. Everything should be good. Then we're gonna let it sit dry for about 2 weeks. And that sterilizes, that sanitizes everything. That will kill anything that would be in this aquarium for sure. And make it spotless. There's a lot of buildup in these pipes. This tank's been up for a long time, and there's a lot of buildup in the pipes, and this water will help break that down and flush it out. All right, there it is. Tank looks like this for now while it's getting rinsed out. And then next thing it'll be to dry it, but next you will see it all set up.
All right, so while we were back here and we're working on the plumbing and electric, we noticed that this stand is not structurally sound. After all these years of having a tank on it, it's finally just gone out. We did not notice it from the front, but once we were able to move the tank, we saw how bad it really was. It is not fit to have a tank on it. Having this fish disease actually ended up being a good thing, because he could have woken up with 150 gallons of salt water all over his floor, and it would have been disastrous. So it's a good thing we caught this. We're gonna go ahead and order a brand new stand for him and just start this project completely over.
All right, so here we are. This is what the tank looks like now, months and months later. It looks actually really pretty. Let me see if I can turn the lights on. All right, so I'm not gonna turn the lights on because the lights aren't plugged in, and for good reason. We don't need them on. There's nothing in here. There's no corals in here, and it would just make the diatom bloom a lot worse, the brown algae bloom a lot worse. It's already getting ambient light, so I can see in here just fine. Sand is clear. I think this tank has now been up and running for, it's gotta be closing in on 3 months. It's crazy how time flies. But all these rocks were taken out, and they were treated, bleached, acid, all that stuff, then soaked, rinsed, and then we were able to put it back in the aquarium. So we started first, we put everything back in, we added RO water, let it cycle, and then we did a big water change, and then we added salt to the tank, and now it is. And we dumped ammonia in here also, just to get that cycle going for so we can add fish in later. But it is now ammonia free. It is ready to add fish. We are not adding fish as of yet because the fish that are going in this aquarium are currently in quarantine. Now this aquarium lost all of its inhabitants because of marine velvet and a case of flukes too, which I think kind of helped made the infection of the marine velvet a lot worse. But within, I'd say, about 3 days, all the fish that were in this tank died. Unfortunately, but that's why you need to make sure you get quarantine fish. Going forward, we are going to slowly add fish to this tank. probably a couple at a time. I think the first things we'll be adding are yellow tang, a aquacultured yellow tang, and possibly an aquacultured blue hippo tang. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. I know that the customer, those are the fish that he is eyeing. But same top, brand new stand, and let's take a look at the filtration. Now remember what the filtration looked like before. We actually got a sump in here. Same protein skimmer that's up and going, keeping that water oxygenated. But we actually got a proper sump in this tank. Can you believe it? And we still kept this little area, which will be the refugium going forward. It's still hooked up there on the bottom, but we just got a cleaner, wire management's better, a cleaner setup here. Not done yet down here, still some work to do. This will be the refugium going forward. I believe that's what we're gonna be doing with this, but I could be mistaken, not sure yet. But brand new stands. And we're back. We are back with this aquarium, and I cannot wait to put fish in here. So I'll hand it off to future Chris, and we'll see what fish are in here.
Hey, thank you for that pass, Chris. So we've come a long way with this aquarium. It's been a couple of months and we got these fish out of quarantine. So let's go over what we have in here. We have about 5 monos. The customer really was wanting monos. We got some baby monos in here. We have that aquacultured yellow tang I was talking about. We have a Bangai cardinal. We also have a reef safe angelfish in here. And we've started introducing some corals. So we got some pallies in here, some zoas in here. They all look really, really good. I just added today a green bubble tip anemone, which I just put in, that's why he's all shrunken, and then a rose bubble tip anemone right there, which is hard to tell, but just added them in. They're gonna have to acclimate. I can't wait to see what they do in 2 weeks when I come back. And what else we got going on? Yeah, just some more pallies and stuff like that. We're gonna, and rock flowers also in this tank. We're gonna slowly start introducing more corals. We're dealing with some uglies now. We got some bad brown algae going on here. Bad case of dinoflagellus, no big deal. We'll kick that right out. We're gonna be dosing some bacteria to help cycle this tank a little bit faster. It's been a couple of months, but the tank has finally got life back in it, and I know the customer's very happy about that, and there's a lesson to be learned here. Always quarantine your fish, always quarantine your corals, so you can avoid future problem and loss. Thank you guys so much for watching. I cannot wait to see how this tank ends up. Stay tuned.